the decision was reportedly made last week to bring back Karen and Foggy into Daredevil Born Again. We also got
Well, at least they're in talks, right? They just kind of were like, well,
I mean, yeah, I heard the decision had already been like kind of made, so
okay,
maybe they are in talks. I don't know. But like what what was also kind of big news about that was that like a last week or two, the I guess the viewing order for Marvel and Disney Plus was updated,
right,
which confirms that all the Netflix MCU shows are now a part of the main canon like storyline.
the Defenderverse.
Right. And basically Vincent D'Onofrio confirmed that after the overhaul, like the creative overhaul they did after the writer's strike, they like all the creators got together and said like we have to include all of the stuff now. It's just like this is just what we have to do. Which definitely feels a bit like fan appeasement to me. And not really like totally I don't know. It just feels like they've jumped off their wagon pretty fast of like this sure boat they were going down, you know, or sure road where they were like, yeah, no, we don't want that stuff to be canon. We want a new kind of rebooted story.
Right.
But now it's just like they saw all the fan backlash and were like, yeah, maybe let's just go with what the fans want. So could be bad, but I think for the most part it is all good news. Not every Defenderverse show was great, but I think having the Daredevil series canon is pretty amazing. And that it'll be like Daredevil Born Again will be a continuation. So I think I'm pretty happy about all of this, but it doesn't sound like you quite are.
It's not that I'm not happy. I love the Daredevil series on Netflix. Admittedly, I did not watch the Defenders movie.
Show.
I saw show.
Yeah, it's an 8-episode show. Yeah.
Okay. I did not watch Defenders. I did not watch all of Jessica Jones. I did not watch all of Luke Cage. I did not watch all of Iron Fist, but I did see all.
I missed a lot. I missed a lot of the Defenderverse. Like I watched Iron Fist season 1. I watched Luke Cage season 1, and I watched Daredevil season 1, and I watched Defenders, and that's it. Like I didn't see any season 2s.
Right.
So
or in the Punisher.
I didn't see Punisher either. Yeah. I saw like the first episode of that.
Yeah. So I can say I was reading up a little bit and basically the Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin, was saying that the reason that the Netflix shows were adopted into the MCU and he was saying this around the time that Echo premiered, which I have not seen yet. So
yeah, same.
There's things that we could talk about that would also further the conversation that we can't necessarily speak about because we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
mostly
I think
speaking
we'll
about
review it in a week or two.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get around to that.
Yeah,
but
me too.
He was saying that the reason that it was adopted in the MCU was because of the way Daredevil Born Again blew up, and people talking about it, and like you were saying, like apparently the decision to bring back Foggy and Karen was like a week ago, so
yeah.
I'm still like,
right, they're still writing it, they're still figuring stuff out.
You're still supposed to be making this show, get the actors all scheduled and figured out. I mean, I feel like,
right.
Basically, I'm not unhappy. I just feel like there was, like you said, there was this idea that like we have.
Yeah, there was a whole plan.
There was a plan,
right.
And like obviously, from just the way that Hawkeye went down, with Kingpin getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
Would not in the Netflix show that I'm sorry, he would be dead.
He would die.
But from what I understand in the Echo show, spoiler alert, it grazed his eye or whatever. And
interesting.
And not to mention that even when his fight with Kate Bishop, he's this
right, he got hit by a car.
He so like powerful. Just
he's like a comic book strength villain. It's a bit ridiculous. So I think they got to make that like uncanon or like maybe just never mention that fight ever.
I've heard people talk about like the snap happens and he gets some sort of powers from something that happens with the snap. I
don't love that.
I don't love that either. I mean, like, we
Yeah.
have not seen anything to suggest that that's something that would
No.
happen.
No, we've had like 20 projects since the snap, and nobody's gotten powers from the snap.
Unless something happens where, like, that's how mutants occur, like a mutant gene is activated. I don't know. That's just the lamest fucking. Yeah, all right, yeah, sure. Maybe that's how they'll write it. But I will say that there's just a lot that has to get worked out, right? So are we gonna keep the same guy that did Iron Fist? I say probably not.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're bringing all of them back, per se.
Like, is it truly canon? I guess. I don't know, but
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Do we keep Jessica Jones? Do we keep Luke Cage? Do we keep the Punisher? I think they're probably gonna bring the Punisher back.
Yeah, it sounds like John Barenthal is going to return, although he said some things recently where he's like, look, if I'm returning, it has to be very true to the character. It's got to be perfect for Punisher. So yeah, I think he'll do it if it's like a really great script.
But it just feels like, I guess it feels that they are trying to now bring something in that was not necessarily intended to be a part of what was going on in the first place.
Yeah.
And so this Daredevil that we've seen is not too different than the Daredevil that we saw in the Netflix show, but significant. Like, there is changes, and I just like when he's in She-Hulk, there's jumps that he's doing that he would not normally be doing.
Right. Yeah, like from what we see in Echo, though, it's like he's wearing the exact same suit. He's doing very similar, fighting maneuvers that he did in the show. So I think Echo at least is taking all of that into account. I know it's not. From what I've heard, it's not like a great perfect show, but they do the Daredevil stuff right, from what I've heard. So. But funny enough, like, I never had a problem with this suit, and now, like, all the fans are like, we should probably have a new suit for Daredevil, But, it's, like, I get it. It's not, like, the most comic accurate suit, but I still think it looks dope as hell.
I am just tired of people saying, oh, it's not comic accurate. I don't need it to be comic accurate. It needs to be adapted. It needs to look good on a movie screen. Like, I feel like Marvel's done a great job at adapting comic book superhero suits.
I think that's probably one of the best things they've done in Phase 4 and like 5 maybe is adapting comic accurate suits.
No, I mean, just I'm not saying all the way back to like when the MCU first started. They've always been great at adapting suits, minus Steve Rogers' Captain America in Avengers, the first Avengers. Maybe we didn't need to be like that. Not a great suit.
Oh, like super comic accurate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Super comic accurate did not look great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm a critic of the first Avengers. I don't think I've ever really complained about his suit in that, but it's valid. Yeah.
It's goofy.
Compared to everyone else's who's very...
It's a goofy suit.
I don't know.
They even poked fun at it in Endgame.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I'm on the opposite end of you. I don't know how you cannot like the first Avengers. That movie's great.
I think it's aged better than I expected. But I came out of that movie and I was disappointed.
What?
I genuinely I thought one of the worst things about Phase 1 was Thor. The whole movie of Thor. Like I didn't like almost anything about it. Even Loki, the character Loki. And to have made him the villain of that movie and for it to really just be a showcase of fighting and not the greatest of storytelling was a little disappointing, I think. So it was very visually fun. I'll give it that.
All right. Well, we're getting off topic.
We are.
I'm like, cool. All right, fine. We want to bring in Daredevil into the Netflix Daredevil stuff into the MCU. Fine. I feel it's a bit weird. It's like you're gonna, like, for example, we're gonna have Mahershala Ali and his same face, playing two characters at this point.
We've had that happen a couple of times now.
But they were pretty, like, much in like extensive makeup that you wouldn't even know.
And here's the thing. Mahershala Ali was in like the first half of season 1 for Luke Cage. Like he doesn't make it the whole season. He's not even the main villain of that season. So I think it's sure. It's like I get it. It's not maybe the cleanest of castings or recastings per se. Now that you have that canon, but is there anybody else besides Chloe Zhao that has done 2 roles? In person.
Chloe Zhao was the director of the Eternals.
Oh, who am I thinking? Oh, is it Gemma Chan or
Gemma Chan?
Gemma Chan. Yeah, she played an alien, a Kree in the Marvels, and she played in the Eternals.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only in-person dual role.
There might have been one other.
I know. Linda Cardellini played Hawkeye's wife and Rocket's Lila.
Oh, right.
But that's an animated and voice role.
Yeah.
So, or not animated, but CGI.
Right.
So yeah, maybe that's the most difficult one to embrace. But it doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
It's I just feel a little weird about it. Maybe it'll, like, it's pretty new news, and it's like a whole, like, well, now I have to fit this into the canon of the MCU, and I just always kind of was like, if it's a fun thing, and now we were bringing those characters into the MCU, but in, like, they are just a different, like, the Netflix was going to be a different universe,
But it was always implied that
Yes.
that universe was a part of the MCU.
Yes,
yes,
but
they barely made mention to it in the shows, but
I would have been more okay with it if they had originally planned that and then put Kingpin and Daredevil into She-Hulk and Hawkeye the way that they would normally be, but now they've been like powered somehow,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
it's very it's just a little strange.
I that's the part I don't love, is that Daredevil and Kingpin act differently in their most recent appearances.
Right.
So hopefully they fix that and make it cleaner, but otherwise I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I just want Daredevil. I just want it. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, then fine. I'll be happy, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to release until like 2025 now, to be honest.
That's fine.
Now that they haven't even filmed yet.
Let me watch some other things instead of just watching, superheroes.